Incremental Retro Racing is a hybrid arcade racer and idle game that channels the visual nostalgia of the 1980s classics like OutRun and Rad Racer. Instead of standard competitive racing, the premise revolves around the automated endless driving, and where your vehicle continuously generates currency based on your speed, distance, and close calls with traffic. You actively manage steering, braking, drifting, maximizing your score and your multiplier that funnels those earnings in the increments upgrade loop to boost your engine, handling, and passive income. It essentially turns the high-speed thrill of retro highway driving into a satisfying loop-based progression system, where you constantly chase faster times, unlock newer cars, and watch your stats skyrocket. The visuals pay tribute to the late 80s and 16-bit arcade racers, echoing pseudo 3D road effects made famous by games like OutRun. Instead of relying on modern polygon rendering, the game uses detailed 2D pixel sprites for vehicles, traffic, and roadside scenery, such as billboards, trees, and barriers. The road stretches into a horizon, layering raster scaling techniques that create a strong sense of speed and depth without abandoning the retro look. Bright neon tones and synth-inspired color paths reinforce the nostalgic arcade atmosphere from start to finish. Despite its old-school style, the engine supports native 4K output on modern PCs, while scaling smoothly to lower resolutions on portable systems like the Steam Deck. Pixel clarity remains sharp because the game applies clear integer scaling rather than softening the image with blur filters. The performance stays consistently fluid, maintaining the game at 60 FPS on modest hardware, and climbing well beyond the 120 frames per second on newer displays with higher refresh rates. Fast reaction mechanics, especially drifting through dense traffic and maintaining combo chains, benefit from the responsive controls and low input delay. The entire experience is wrapped in customizable retro effects, including CRT curvatures, scan lines, glowing pixels, and synth-heavy soundtracks paired with sleek arcade-inspired interface. Incremental Retro Racing is about the thrill of fast-paced arcade driving with the gradual progressed mechanisms typical of idle games. The game features core loop in which the player drives indefinitely along the highway and getting rewarded with stars, money, and multipliers for efficient driving. The player controls steering, braking, drifting in the game, but acceleration will be mostly automatic, basically holding down the right trigger. Efficient driving is vital since driving fast through traffic will yield large amount of money, and being nearly hit by other cars rewards aggressive driving behavior as the player tries to drive close to the other vehicles without getting into any accidents. Drifting around turns accumulates combo multipliers, which makes the timing essential in the gameplay. Performing many drifts and dodges without colliding to other cars yields a significant amount of revenue increases. When not playing, the player invests to earn money into upgrading the car's stats, widening the highway, and increasing the traffic on it. Upon reaching a certain point, the player will be offered a prestige reset option to receive bonuses to help move further in the progression path. The biggest weakness in incremental retro racing comes from the tension between the arcade action and the idle progression system, which eventually causes the gameplay loop to lose momentum. Early sessions feel exciting because the driving mechanic demands attention and rewards skillful play, especially during the heavy traffic sessions. As progression continues, however, upgrades gradually remove much of the challenge by widening the road, reducing obstacles, or eliminating traffic entirely. But once those mechanics stop creating tension, the act of driving loses much of its excitement because largely passive. Instead of reacting to dangerous situations, players often end up waiting for the numbers to rise until the next prestige reset becomes available. The late game structure turns repetitive because there are fewer meaningful gameplay changes, after the major upgrades are unlocked. Although the progression still delivers satisfying stat increases, the actual driving mechanic no longer evolves in a significant way. The result is slower and less engaging experience that struggles to maintain the same energy found during the opening hours. This game delivers a style of mix of arcade racing and incremental progression that captures the spirit of classic highway racers extremely well.
The combination of drifting, speed-based rewards, and constant upgrades created an addictive gameplay loop during the early and middle portions of the experience. Its retro presentation stands out thanks to detailed pixel art, smooth raster scaling effects, and customizable CRT-style filters that straighten the nostalgia atmosphere. Progression feels rewarding because every risk maneuver directly contributes to faster upgrades and larger earnings. Performance is another strong point with stable frame rates that make the game ideal for both desktops and handheld devices like the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally, for example. The soundtrack and visual style work together effectively, giving this game a distinctive arcade identity. Unfortunately, the late game pacing weakens the upgrades and removes most of the challenge from driving. Repetition sets in and replaces the tension and excitement that initially makes the gameplay satisfying. Even with those shortcomings, it remains an entertainment and memorable retro-inspired racer with a strong sense of style. And for that, I give Incremental Retro Racing a 3 out of 5. Thanks for tuning into the Gamer section. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel and turn that bell for notifications.